Is it just me, or does it feel like the Toronto Maple Leafs this year got less media coverage than last year? I I don't know. There were every single year. There's always so much Leafs in the headlines that you can barely get it out of your head. But this year, maybe I didn't pay attention to enough, but I didn't see too much. I obviously saw still more than they probably deserved. But it. I think it's a bit interesting. Either way, let's talk about them. This roster is going to have a lot of change. If you don't know, the green lines mean RFA, the blue lines mean UFA. We're going to be going through this list. So the Leafs got eliminated by the Florida Panthers. Again, arguably one of the best constructed rosters in the modern post-COVID era. And this is my Cup champion post-COVID needs. This is what you're going to need to have an optimal chance at a Cup. Obviously, it's a big wish list. But there are two teams in the playoffs that meet this, I'm pretty sure. And so, yeah, it's a fair list. If teams have this, they're gonna beat you 9 times out of 10. But these guys took them to 7, and even though it's like Toronto cursed 7 games, that isn't a bad feat. So the word on the street is Marner's probably gone, and that is a big issue. You're going to have to pay Matthew Knies a lot of money. Tavares may come back at a discount, but seeing as he was paid 11 mil, yeah. Holmberg, you're not paying too much. Robertson, you're not paying too much. Patches and Lorentz are optional, cheap comebacks, and Hakanpää, you don't really need, but if you want, that's there. Stolarz and Wall, interesting cases. Both kind of goalies that were never pure starters came in to be the best goaltending tandem in the league behind Winnipeg. Although they might have beaten Winnipeg if Comrie had negative goals saved above expected, because these guys had 47, Hellebuyck had 49. That's off of Evolving Hockey. Oh, that reminds me. My projected cap, I forgot to put in a couple of these, is from Puckpedia. And let's go down the list. Was this team a Stanley Cup contender? Do they have a true 1C? Yes, say what you want about Auston Matthews. He is a 1C. 2 game breakers or 5+ elites. Do they have 2 game breakers? No, they have a lot of guys who are close though. Matthews, Marner, Tavares, Nylander, all elite. Knies, you talk about it. And I say elite, I mean all-star level. Like, I guess I probably should have clearly elaborated earlier. But when I say elite, I mean you're looking at guys that can play to an elite level, can score consistently. You want guys that'll push you up. Tanev is an elite defensive D-man, so we give it to him. 7+ top 6 forwards, including a 2C. This is 5 top 6 forwards, including a 2C. Do I see 6? No. So no, they do not. 4 top 4 D-man. 1, 2, 3. Yes, 3, 4. Goalies with elevation in the playoffs. No. Stolarz and Wall were much more fit for a regular season. Stolarz got injured, and I think Stolarz could pull it back, but Wall does not have that playoff elevation. And he is not to the level of an amazing regular season goaltender that this can be ignored. Stolarz was the second highest in goals saved above expected this season. But, you need to be a bit more consistent. A great third line? Fuck no. Now, this fourth line, honestly, if these were swapped, okay, let's say they're close to it, but it's not great, it's good. But let's talk. Let's take a segue. The Scott Laughton acquisition was fucking horrible. When you could have gotten Jake Walman for a cheaper price or same price. If it's just a first, then obviously. But even then, your first is better than Edmonton's. Scott Laughton was a horseshit idea. Okay. Then we go 3 reliable post top 4D. Yes. You can make the case. I'm very generous with this one. 5 playable lines, no. Ryan Reaves being in your lineup is a 100% negative thing. He is not an NHLer anymore. You should not be treated like one. So no, they do not have 5 playable lines. Multiple steals on contract. Bingo, kinda. I like Tanev. I like Nylander. I like Matthews, no matter what you say. And Marner to this point. Yes, 11.6, but you're getting guys that are worth it. And Nye's on an ELC, definitely worth it this season. This could change very soon. A top 8 coach? No. No. Craig Berube is not a top 8 coach. He's gonna get out competed. He is a bit of an old dog. I think he's a top 13, 12 around there, but not top 8. An elite offensive defenseman. You know I'm going with this. No. Riley used to be that. I don't think he's that guy anymore. I think he's kind of taken a step back. I don't know if it's whether people have figured him out. He's regressed. Either way, they don't have a number one offensive D-man and a true top pair. They're like a step off. As I said, if Riley has a great season next year, like finds a step in this game, these 2 boxes are checked. But until then, I can't really give it to Toronto. The fact that they push forward to 7 with such a flawed roster almost makes me want to say Berube is a top 8 coach. But it is more that these 4, this little section should be doing that. They should be. And so I might change my mind on Berube next year. I just don't think he's that guy, Now, Treliving, let's talk about him. I think he's a good dude. I think he's a good GM. He tried to make that Marta for Rantanen trade, which I think would have been amazing. I think he's hamstrung a lot by situations, and this is going to be another situation. I think Treliving is a great GM. I think he is often a product of being on teams that people in the Times want to leave. But in Toronto, he also has a team that people want to go to. But that want is slightly going down every year, and he needs to capitalize on it sooner than later. I think the Leafs is actually a pretty quick wrap-up. They have a prospect in Easton Cohen. If he has a nice surge next year, he could help with this, but you're losing Marner. You need to get a guy for that. You can't just lose a guy like that, because let's say Tavares comes in at 6, Nice comes in at 7, 8. Let's say 7. You got 13 mil. That's 12.7. You sign 2 replacement level guys for 2 mil, a piece, or not a piece, a total, and you sign Holmberg to 1 mil. So that's 3. Yeah, 9 million left. You don't really need to re-sign Hakanpää, and so you have 9 million. If your first thought isn't giving that money to Nikolai Ehlers, then my judgment of Treliving goes down. Nikolai Ehlers should be this team's prize this offseason. They should be sending as much cash as they can to him. Because, yeah, Tavares is solid. He doesn't deserve 11, but that guy is still kicking and a great scorer. They need those guys. But this is such a huge loss. You need to get him back. Or you can't get him back, but you need to try and get something for it. You can't just lose a guy like Marner for nothing. And they tried. It's rough, but Marner stopped the trade, and now he's gone. Oh. Well, if you're watching this in the morning, have a good morning. If you're watching this midday, have a good afternoon. Watching this at night, have a good night. Other than that, I think Toronto, it's not a doomed future, but it is one that needs a lot of work from this guy. Adios.